Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can install and configure Git and GitHub on your Mac operating system. So let's get started and let's see how we can do it. So first of all, we will start with the installation of Git. So for that, just open your favorite browser and search for Git, and the first link which will appear here will be from git-scm.com. So we are going to click on this link, and here you will be able to see this download for Mac option. So just click on this download for Mac button. Now on this page you will be able to see different ways using which you can install Git on your Mac operating system. The first way is by using Brew. Brew is a package manager and it allows you to install various different packages on your Mac operating system. So if you want to use Brew, you can use Brew install Git. Similarly, there is a tool called macports, and using that you can install Git by using this command, which is sudo port install Git. But my favorite way of installing Git on my Mac operating system is this third way, which says Apple ships a binary package of Git with Xcode. So Xcode is a tool which you can download and install from your app store, and it allows you to develop in various different languages on your Mac operating system. So if you are a developer anyway, you will be downloading the Xcode on your Mac operating system for various different purposes, and one of those purpose is to install the version of Git also. So that's why I like this third way. So let me show you how you can install the Xcode. So first of all, you need to open the App Store. You can find the App Store icon on the dock. This is the App Store icon, so just click on that. Or you can also search for App Store in your Launchpad and then click on that and App Store will start. From here, just search for Xcode and then press enter, which is going to search for Xcode. And the result which we are looking for is this one, which is called Xcode Developer Tools. Here I'm going to click on this download button. So in my case, it shows this warning which says download the older version of Xcode. The current version requires macOS 13.5 or later, but you can download the last compatible version. Because right now, if I click on the Apple logo and then click on about this Mac, I have the 13 version, not the 13.5. So I can download the older version. If you have the latest version of macOS, you can download the latest version of compatible Xcode. Here I'm going to click on download button, which is going to start the download of the Xcode. So you can see this download has been started. It's around 7 GB of download, so it will take some time for the download to complete. You can also go to the Launchpad and see the download process. Here you can see this download is going on. So it's going to download around 7 GB of data. So it will take some time. So just wait for the download to finish. So once the download is complete, it's going to start the installation process. As you can see, when I hover over this circle, installation process is about 2% complete. So now the Xcode is installed on my Mac operating system. Once it's installed, you will be able to see open button in front of Xcode. Also in the Launchpad, you will be able to see this Xcode icon. So I'm going to click on this Xcode icon. Let me minimize this App Store, and then it's going to start the Xcode. So once you have installed Xcode on your Mac operating system, let's open our terminal and let's see the version of Git. So I'm going to click on this spotlight search option, and then I'm going to search for the terminals, and then just click on the terminal option, which is going to open the terminal for you. Here, to check the version of Git, you just need to write git space hyphen hyphen version and then press enter, and it's going to show you the version of Git you have. In my case, it's Git version 2.39.2, at the time of making this video. And you can see in the brackets, I can also see Apple Git 143. So because we have installed Git using the Xcode, it shows us this Apple Git hyphen 143. So Git is now working on our Mac operating system. Now let's create a Git repository and then commit the code, and then let's try to push that code to the GitHub repository. So I already have a Python script, and I want to push that code in a Git repository. So I'm going to go to my Finder. I'm going to right click on the Finder and then open the Documents folder where my sample project is there. This is the folder which I want to push to the GitHub repository. So I'm going to go inside this folder. Now, as you can see, the location of this folder is users forward slash codebind forward slash documents forward slash samples folder. So I need to navigate to this directory in my terminal also. If you want to see the location, you can also see the location by just right clicking on the file, and then when you select the get info, you will be able to see the path of this file here. So you can see users, then codebind, documents, and then sample. So from here also you can copy the path name, right click here and then click on copy as path name, and then you can cd into that directory. So let me clear the terminal first and let's start from the beginning. So I'm going to cd into the directory where my project is present. As I have copied the path, I'm going to just command paste here, and this is the path of my Python project. So I'm going to just press enter, and now I'm currently in the sample project in my Mac operating system, right? In the sample project, I have this Python script which is test.py. When I do ls here, you will be able to see the same file here. So let me just resize this and then open this sample folder on the right hand side. Now before starting with the initialization of Git and committing our files, let's also create a GitHub repository for this project. So as I said, my Python script resides in the sample directory, and that is the name I want to give to my GitHub repository also. So once again, I'm going to go to my favorite browser and then I'm going to search for GitHub. And the first link which will appear here will be from github.com. So we are going to click on this link. Here, this is the main page of GitHub. You can sign in to your GitHub by clicking on the sign in button. If you don't have any account, you can click on sign up and then provide your email ID and password, and then your GitHub account will be created. And once you are signed in to your GitHub account, it looks like this. So here we need to create a new repository. You can create a new repository by clicking on this green new button, or you also have this plus button at the top and you can click on the new repository option from here also. So I'm going to click on this plus button and then click on new repository, which is going to start process of creation of new repository. Now, as I said, I want to name my repository as sample, right? So I generally like to give the same name to my repositories as my local project name. In my case, it's sample, but in your case, it can be anything, right? So in whatever project directory your code resides, just choose the same name as your repository name. So here I'm going to name my repository as sample. Here I can write the small description, for example, Python project, and then I can choose which type of repository I want. Generally, people choose public repository, which is visible for everybody on GitHub. If you want to choose the private repository, you can only create a selected number of private repository using Git with your free account. So I'm going to choose the public option here. You can also initialize the readme file. Readme file is the file which gives information about your project. You can check this checkbox to create a readme file. For now, I don't want to create it, so I'm going to leave it as unchecked. Also, you can add the git ignore to your project and license file to the project. For now, I'm going to leave them as none, so it's not going to create any of these files. I just want to create a repository here. So I'm going to click on the create repository option, which is going to create my repository. Once my repository is created, you can see the name of the repository in the URL. So github.com/my username, which is pknowledge, / the name of the repository. Here also you can see my GitHub username, which is pknowledge, and inside the pknowledge account, I have this sample repository. Now, once your repository is created, GitHub is going to show you the hints how you can create or initialize a Git repository, how you can add files, how you can commit files. So you can see you have three options here. You can clone this repository, right? So what it's going to do is it's going to clone this repository locally. If you already have your project locally, then you will use the second option, which is create a new repository on the command line, and then we are going to push our code. So we will use the second option here, right? So let's do that. Let me open the command terminal and let me move it to the right hand side, because we are going to use the same kind of commands, right? So if you want to create a readme file, you can use the first command. So I'm going to just copy this echo command and then paste it into the terminal. What this does is it's basically going to echo this hash space sample text into the readme file. So it's going to create a readme file and then put hash space sample text into the readme file. I'm going to press enter, and then when I give the ls command, now I can see that I have two files here. One was my test.py file, and I also have one more file which is readme.md file which I have created. If I want to see the content of readme, I can do cat readme.md, and you can see we have just added this hash sample in the readme file. Now, in order to initialize a Git repository in your project locally, just write git init, and this is our second command. This is going to initialize a Git repository in your project. So I'm going to press enter here, and it says initialized empty Git repository in your sample folder. It also says that it has created this .git folder inside your sample directory. Now when you do ls, you will not see .git directory here. For that, you need to write ls space -al and then press enter, and then you will be able to see this .git directory in the result. That means this .git directory is a hidden file. Now the third command it says is you need to give the git add and the file name. So you need to add your files into the git system. But before that, you can also give this command, which is git status command, and it's going to show you this kind of output, right? So it says untracked files, and it says I have three untracked files. One is this .ds store, which is a hidden file which I don't care about. Second one is the readme file, and third one is the test.py file. Both are in red. Let me just remove this .ds store because I don't need this file. So I'm going to write rm -rf and then the name of the file, which is .ds store, which is going to remove this file, and then let me give the git status command once again, and now I have these two files which are untracked and it's shown in the red color, right? That means our files are present here, but we haven't added those files into the git system. So to add those files into the Git system, you give these commands, write git add and the name of the file. In our case, we need to add two files. One is the readme.md file and other is the test.py file. So we can write git add and then you can just write the name of the readme file and then you can write the name of the test.py file. So either you can do this. The easy way of adding the files into the Git system is you just need to write git add space dot, which means it's going to add all the untracked file into the Git system. Press enter and then the files are added to Git. We move it little bit up so that you will be able to see it properly. We are going to give the git status command once again. You can switch between these commands. If you have already given some commands previously, you can press up key in your keyboard and it's going to give you those commands once again. So I'm going to write git status here once again, and now I can see the status of these files are these are added to my Git system and now they are green, but it says changes to be committed. So we have added our files to Git system, but they are still uncommitted. We need to commit them, right? So this is where we use the third command, which is git commit, then space -m. -m is the flag you use to provide any comment to your commit. So here I'm going to just write first commit. So this will be the comment for your commit. You provide these kind of comments to know what you have committed. So just the information about the commit. When you give this command, you don't need to give the file names after that. When you give this command, all the uncommitted files will be committed. In our case, readme and test.py files will be committed. So press enter and you can see both the files are committed. Now we need to switch to the main branch of our Git. So this is the next command we need to give here, which is git branch space -m and then branch name. Generally the default branch name in Git is main, right? So I'm going to just write git branch space capital M, not the small m, and then the main, right? So it's going to switch to the main branch. I'm going to press enter and now we are in the main branch. Now in order to find out or show the list of all the branches which are present in your Git repository, you can simply give this command, which is git branch and then press enter. It's going to show you all the branches present on your project. We have just created only one branch, which is the main branch, and this asterisk in front of it is going to show you which branch is the active branch, right? So now we have switched to the main branch. Now everything we have done till now, we have done it locally. When we have given this git commit command, you can also see the username and the email ID, and it says the name and the email address were configured automatically based on your username and host name, right? If you want to give the custom username, like in my case, let's say I want to give the custom username p knowledge to the Git configuration, and then I want to give the custom email ID, then what you need to do here is, and I will recommend these two steps for you. So before pushing your code to the GitHub repository, just run these two commands, which is git space config, then write user.name and then your username. So whatever username you want to provide here, you can provide your username for your Git repository or Git configuration. I'm going to provide knowledge as the username here and then press enter, and it's going to set this name as my Git username for my Git config. Then I'm going to also assign the email ID. So for that, you need to write git config space -- global, and instead of user.name, you need to write user.email and then the email ID. I'm going to give any random email ID for now, for example xyz@gmail.com, but you might want to give the proper email ID here. Okay, and then I'm going to press enter. And what these two commands are going to do is it's going to set the proper username into the git config, and it's going to set the proper email ID in your git config. Now in order to view your config, you can write this command, which is git config, and then if you want to see the system wide config, just write --system space --list and then press enter. Right now I don't have any system wide config. Let's do it like this. For example, git for config space --list, and it's going to show you the user config for you. Okay, and you can see the default branch is main, the default username is pknowledge, which we have set, the default email is this one, which we have set, and then all the other configurations are listed here. So everything looks good to me. Now I have cleared this terminal so that we can see the next commands. So next command here is git remote add origin and then the URL. Now I will recommend you to not to use this command, because when you use this command and the next command, the error will appear on your terminal which will say that the method you are using is already expired. Let me show you how you can properly run the command. Instead of these commands, you need to run other commands which are similar to these commands, but you need to change the commands. First, you need to create your personal access token, and then you will be able to create those commands. So for that, what you need to do is, let me just copy this URL and paste it into the new tab, and then I'm going to open my GitHub account, and here you need to click on your profile and then select settings here. Go to the settings on the left hand side, just scroll down at the very bottom and then click on developer settings, and here you need to create a new personal token. So I'm going to click on personal access token here and then click on token classic. Once you click on token classic, you will see this section. Just click on generate new token and then click on generate new token classic, which is going to create a token for you. Now you can name your token anything. For example, I'm going to name my token as sample token here, and then you can also decide when it's going to expire. In your case, you might want to use no expiration if you don't want your token to expire, or you can give a longer period for your token. For example, if you want to give any custom expiration, you can give the custom expiration here also. For now, I'm going to just give the 7 days, because I want this token to be expired, because I'm going to create this token and you guys will be able to see this token. So anyway, it will not be good idea to keep this token forever, but in your case, just choose the longer date here. Now in the select scope, just check on every checkbox if you want to give all the privileges to this token. So I'm going to check each and every checkbox from here. And once you have checked all these checkboxes, click on generate token, which is going to generate the token for you. Now keep in mind, you can only see this token once. So you need to copy this token and then save it somewhere where you will be able to access it once again. You can see, make sure to copy your personal token. You won't be able to see it again. So let me open the text edit, for example, and there I want to just paste it for now so that I will be able to use it later. Just copy the command will be the same. You just need to add this URL token in front of this GitHub. So I'm going to just copy this URL token and after https :// just paste your token and then provide at the rate option. So just write at the rate and then github.com and then leave your username and leave your password, right? So basically the format of this command will be like this. So git remote add origin https :/ your token name at the rate github.com, which is here, / your username, in my case it's p knowledge, and then your repository name, in my case it's sample, right? So this username and the repository name you will be able to see in your GitHub. So you can see this is the username, this is the uh, repository name. You can also see username and repository name here in the command, right? So this will be the command. I'm going to just copy this command once again and then paste it into the terminal. Make sure you are running your commands in the same folder as your repository, right? I'm running all these commands in the sample project, right? And now the remote origin is added. And now we can run the next command, which is the last command, which is git push space -u origin main. So let me just copy this command and then press this command, and hopefully you will not see any error. You can see we have pushed successfully our code to the main branch, and that means when you go to your GitHub repository and when you refresh this page where you have created your GitHub repository, you will be able to see your code files. You can see in my case it's readme.md, which have this sample text here, and then I have this test.py file which have my Python script content here. Okay, now let's say I want to change something in my Python script. I'm going to do ls, and then I'm going to open this Python script using any editor. Let's say I want to open this Python script using idle or Visual Studio Code, or you can use any editor to change the text for this, right? Let's say I'm going to use Visual Studio Code to change this Python script. Here I also want to add print hello world here, okay, and then save my code. Once I have changed my script, that means I have some uncommitted code now. So I have added some more code into the file, and then when I do git status into the same folder, so status and then press enter, it says this file is modified, right? So once again I need to commit this file, so I can write git commit and then -m and then the name, let's say second commit here, and then you can just give the file name, which is test.py in my case, right? And then press enter, and this file is committed. Once the file is committed, you can push your changes once again by using this command, or you have already used this command, so just use the top arrow key and then give this command, which is git push space -u space origin space main, which is going to push your changes once again. And once the changes are pushed, once again refresh your code. So you can see I have added print statement here on the third line, but right now I don't see it because I need to refresh my repository. So let me refresh it, and now I can see this print statement here, right? So this is how you can once again commit your changes and push your changes. So this is how you can install Git and configure GitHub on your Mac operating system. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.